Hello, 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 hello. Hello. I am not sure if I am coming across. I was trying to hop into the group on tonight and see, or hop on Facebook to see if my video is coming across. So, if you will, if you are joining me, I'm Dr. Tiffany Ross. I am a marriage and family therapist. I am also a personal development coach, and I specifically help women learn how to end their unhealthy relationship cycles, stop playing small in their life and relationships, and take back their life. So if you are joining me for the first time, just drop an emoji, hit the like, let me know that you're here. On tonight is very special because I am also streaming for the very first time to YouTube. So welcome to the YouTube audience, for those that are joining. So glad that you are here. See, I told you guys, like, this year is the year to stretch, is the year to increase, the year to continue to grow or push yourself to grow. And so one of my goals for this year was to also work on my YouTube platform. So tonight is the very first night that I am also streaming live on YouTube. So we're figuring this thing out. But what we're not going to do is slow down. We're going to keep pressing forward and keep going, or forget the distractions, move past all the distractions, and we're going to keep going. So are you guys ready? I'm going to hop on in tonight because I'm so excited to talk about tonight. And like I said, if you are joining, let me check my comments. If you are joining me for the very first time and you have not given StreamYard permission for me to see your comments, do so now if you will, and then I'll be able to see your comments. I'll be able to see if you make any comments throughout the discussion on tonight. But I would also be able to see your face. Now, I know iOS is doing some pretty crazy things, Facebook doing some pretty crazy things, and you'll hear people all over the place talking about, the changes that Facebook's making. So I may or may not see your comments, but I typically always go back. No, not typically. I always go back to check my comments to make sure that I am not missing a question that someone has asked, a comment. I always like to go back, and because I want to make sure that you know that I acknowledge that you are here and that I appreciate you for showing up. You could be anywhere else. Anywhere else on tonight, but you are here with me, and my friend, I am greatly appreciative. So I want to make sure that to acknowledge that you are here. So we're going to jump in on tonight talking about this topic. Is just like, it's kind of burning on the inside of me because it's something that's extremely relevant to me. Something that I just kind of came into the realization of a few days ago, just about myself. And I really want to share that with you. No better place to share it than with my family, right? That's what we're doing tonight. We're gonna share, but I also want to give you some tips on how to show up as your true self inside a relationship or in a relationship. So here we go. Like I told you guys, this topic is extremely relevant to me because I was on the phone with Kendra Tate, and Kendra is our content director, and she is amazing. You need anything social media wise, beauty wise, Kendra's your girl. So go holler at Kendra Tate. She's phenomenal at what she does, but she's been helping me with social media and just making sure I get my act together with social media, because sometimes it's different when you want to use it for business. And so she's been helping me, and so we were having this conversation just about business plans and marketing plans and content planning, that we typically do at least once or twice a week, or sometimes once every other week, depending on when we meet. And by the end of the conversation, like, we had been on a conversation, well, like, we've been talking for at least an hour or two. It may have been longer than that, Kendra, if you're on. Yeah, we were talking for a very long time until she, till the end of it. And she said, Tiffany, she said, you don't have time to explain, because I do a lot of explanation. I'm a therapist, and I just want to make sure that my point is getting across. And I'm also, I like to teach. And so I typically explain a lot. And she said, Tiffany, you don't have time to do that. She said, we're on social media. People not going to be wanting you to explain all the time. They want you to get to the point, get straight to the point, and say what you got to say. And I was like, but Kendra, I'm struggling with that. And she was like, well, why? What do you mean? Why are you struggling with that? You just say what you need to say and you go on. And I said, well, because I had to take a break and really pause and see, like, where's that coming from? Like, because I have to when I tell you guys that you have to be self-aware and sit down and pause and think and check in with yourself, like I have to do that with myself too. And so I stopped and paused and I said, well, Kendra, um, I think I struggle with that because I've lost friendships over people saying that I'm too blunt or I'm too straight to the point. And even a real good friend of mine, we're really good friends. That was one of the things that she said to me. And she said it, I think, too, here recently. That she's like, I just didn't know how to take her because she was straight to the point and she knew how to read people and and read in not as the negative term that we use it, but read in terms of just picking up on what people are going through or what people are experiencing or their personalities. She's like, she said, I just didn't know how to take her. She's like, you're just very blunt and very straight to the point, and what you see is what you get, and you typically are the person you are all the time. And I didn't realize until that moment that because I lost friends over it, I lost people in my like that were in my circle that did not appreciate my personality. And over time, because of that, I had started adjusting who I was or my personality so that it would fit with people. And I didn't realize that, guys, this had played out like in so many areas of my life. It had played out in my career. It had played out in my marriage. It plays out in my everyday living with my friends. And like had begun to adjust my personality so that someone else can be comfortable. And so on that day, I made a vow for myself, for my business, for my life, for my relationships. Like this has already been kind of in the works in my career and in my, my marriage. But I made a vow that I am going to fully show up as myself and not adjust that for anybody. So I'm not going to apologize in advance, but I am going to say that I cannot teach on something, not in true integrity. I cannot teach on something to you that I in my personal life have not done for myself. I don't feel like that's good leadership. So if you have a therapist, if you have a coach or somebody that you're working with, a manager or a leader of any capacity or authority or pastor, I don't care who it is. If they're telling you to do something that they're not willing to do, I would probably evaluate whether or not I should follow them. And I'm just saying that. I'm saying that. I mean it. So I vow from this point forward to show up 100%, 1000% as myself, regardless of what anyone else think. So the tips tonight, my friend, are not just tips for myself. They are also tips for you. And I hope that you can take them and use them and show up as your true self, your true, authentic, genuine self, your true, authentic, genuine, special, perfect, perfect is, in the eye of the beholder, beautiful, fantastic, wonderful, awesome self everywhere and inside of your relationship, especially. So number one, the first tip that I have of tonight of how to show up as your true self is the number one, know your purpose. I used to lead in young adult group, and I remember doing a teaching on knowing your purpose and the benefit of knowing your purpose before you enter into a relationship. Now, a lot of people don't teach on this. Or at least I have not heard a lot of people teach on this, just because we have so many people that enter into relationships not really knowing who they are. And I feel like we do people a disjustice when we do not teach on topics that need to be taught on. And number one, you need to know your purpose before you enter into a relationship, especially a long-term or potentially long-term relationship. It is so vital. It's vital to your purpose. It's vital to your calling. It's vital to your future. It's vital to who you decide to have children with, build families with, build communities with. It is so vital that you know your purpose. You know what God has created you to do. Now, what happens if you go into a relationship and you're not clear on what God has created you to do, or your person, your partner is not clear on what God has created them to do? Well, you're probably not going to be very clear on what God has called you to do inside of that marriage, or inside of that relationship. Knowing your purpose helps you be able to pick the right partners. Now, I remember telling my children this, my boys, is that you need to know who you are, because you don't want to pick a wife, you don't want to pick a girlfriend or whatever that does not support where you're going in the future. If you know, and I'm going to say a musician because I have a house full of musicians, if you know that you are going to be a musician and you're going to be traveling and going this place and the other and making music and what all that entails, whatever it entails, and it's a lot actually. If you're a musician, you know, if you know this, or if you're in some kind of career where you're going to be traveling all the time and you're going to be meeting different people and you're going to always be busy doing this, doing different things, then you probably don't want an insecure partner. If you have an insecure partner, well, that's going to impact how you do your purpose. And if you're not doing your purpose to please this person, then at the end of your lifespan, you're going to have to answer to somebody. And for me, because I'm a Christian and I'm a believer and I never apologize for that, I have to answer to God for the things that I have not done. So it is so vital that you know your purpose. You cannot show up as your true, authentic, genuine self inside of a relationship if you have not, or have some kind of clue of what your purpose is. Do you have to know it all? Absolutely not. A lot of these things we learn, we grow, we mature. But I do feel like we should have an idea of what we have been called to do. And my friend, if you do not know what you have been called to do, just let me just tell you, you are called to do something. You are called to do something. It is my belief everybody is called, is been made on purpose, has a purpose, on purpose, for a purpose, and with a purpose. We all do. Our creator made us that way. So number one, know your purpose. The second part is know your worth. Know what you are worth. You cannot show up truly, fully in a relationship as yourself if you do not even know what yourself is worth. You have to know your worth. I am a firm believer that people cannot treat you better than you treat yourself. It usually hardly ever happens. If you're bad to yourself, then typically you're going to choose partners that are bad to you. Hardly ever are you bad to yourself and you choose people that are good to you. Hardly ever partners in relationships. So you wonder, oh, why am I going in and out of this? Like, I'm a good person. I got a PhD. I'm saying this for me. I got a PhD degree and I got everything that I could ever want. And I got a house, I got a car. I don't have to worry about how I'm going to pay my bills. I'm successful in every area except for my relationships. Why do I keep failing in relationships? Why do I have all of these things? And then I choose somebody that's a loser, someone that's toxic, someone with no motivation, someone that's not headed anywhere. Have you really sat down and looked inward? Do you know your worth? Do you know what you're worth? Do you know that you're fearfully and wonderfully made? Do you know that you don't have to settle for just any and everything? Do you know that? Do you know your worth? Number one, know your purpose. Number two, know your worth. Number three, have healthy expectations of yourself and healthy expectations of others. Now, sometimes we can set all these expectations on other people, on ourselves, and that are just unreal. That are just unreal. What if you set those expectations? Nobody can reach them. You can't reach them. And then you're guilty and have all this shame on you because you haven't reached your own expectations that were not real in the beginning, or other people are unable to reach those expectations because the expectations are unreal in the beginning, and you shaming and guilting them when all of that could be avoided by just learning how to set healthy expectations. Now I realize a lot of people are unable to do that because they haven't been around healthy people. Well, that may have worked when you were a child, but now you're an adult and you get to choose the people that you can be around. So if you're not healthy or around healthy people, then that's your first step. Go find somebody that's healthy. Go find a mentor. Go find a pastor. Go find someone you look up to. Go find someone in your field, someone to mentor you that's healthy. Find someone that you can look at and they will model what a healthy relationship and healthy expectations look like. So that's number three. And then number four, this is a big one for me. Stop apologizing for who you are. Your creator created you. He created it. He created each and every one of us with very different personalities, with very different callings, very different purposes. He created us. So I didn't know that my straight to the point, blunt, say what I gotta say. Now that has had to have a containment. I can't just say what I want to say to anybody anytime. But that works in therapy. Being blunt, straight to the point, and knowing how to talk to people, all of the skills that people shamed me for, that walked off and left me for because I was too blunt, that worked in therapy. It didn't work for them. It might have needed a little bit more containment for them, but it works for what God has ultimately called me to in this season. And that's to work with other ambitious go-getter women, that successful, very driven women who are used to hearing things straight to the point and bluntly. It works. It works. So every part of who you are has a purpose. It is by God's design. Now, if it's coming from a hurtful, unhealed place, if you're bluntness, sarcastic, or whatever, all the passive aggressive or aggressiveness, whatever it is coming from an unhealed place, then you need to go to therapy. You need to go to therapy. That's it. Don't go to your pastor unless your pastor is a therapist. Go see therapy. Go to therapy. And that's my spiel on that. And I'm not just saying that because I'm therapist. I'm saying that because if we have unhealed parts of our life, we need some help. We need to go to someone or some place that can help us. Okay, so that's my spiel on that. Stop apologizing for who you are. And then my last tip for the night is to let go of any that does not support who you are or where you are going. Don't stop holding on. I reposted a quote, and I forgot who it was about. You go to my page. If you're on Instagram, go to my Instagram page. Go to YouTube. Find my page, either Facebook or Instagram. I posted or reposted a flyer or a quote, sorry, that says, "Stop trying to love the red flags out of people. Be willing to let go. Be willing to let them go. If they do not support where you're going, why are we still holding on? Why? What's the purpose? What's the purpose of still holding on to them? They're not going where you're going. You're not going in the same direction. They're not going to support you because they don't see your value. They don't see your worth. Be willing to walk away. I don't care if it's a career. I left an organization that I was working with and I loved what I did. I loved showing up there, but they didn't support who I was. They did not support every part of me. They did not. So I was willing to let go. I'm too grown. I'm too old. I have too many experiences. I have too much of what God has called me to do to settle for relationships that do not support where I'm going. Be willing to let go. Now, if you're in a marriage, this could be a little bit complicated. Come see me and let's chat. Now, I'm gonna go back through my tips real quick, and then we're gonna get out of here because I don't want to keep you all night. Number one, how to show up as your true and authentic self. Number one, know your purpose. Number two, know your worth. Number three, have healthy expectations of yourself and of others. Number four, stop apologizing for who you are. And number five, be willing to let go of people that do not support where you are, who you are, where you are going. Now, I'll take questions. If you have any questions, please feel free to post those in the chat, in the comments. If I don't get to your question because I can't see it here live, then I will go back and make sure that I answer your question. Or you can feel free to message me and I'll respond in my messenger. So I'll take questions, but in the meanwhile, I want to let you guys know that we are opening our registration. Our registration actually has been open now for a couple of weeks, but officially it is open. You know, you have to readjust some things, and so I was in the process of readjusting. Our last retreat was in April, and it was the Hill Retreat, the Inside Look, the Hill Retreat. But this one is the Hill Retreat, presenting the Shiro edition. It is specifically for ambitious, motivated, go getter women who are ready. I'm talking about ready. Like, you know, the same level of passion that you use in your personal life or in your professional life. Well, we're going to take that passion and put it into our personal lives, inside the Shiro edition. So it's specifically for women ready to level up in their relationships, specifically. Like that's what we're doing for this Shiro edition. It is officially open. Registration is officially open. You can return back to this post, or if you give me a minute, I can drop it in the chat so that you can go there and check out the registration page. We also have the Hill Retreat pop-up group where you would go there, all the details, the latest details of the Hill Retreat. We posting it. Like during the Hill Retreat, we're posting homework assignments in there. We're going back posting the workbooks in there. The Zoom links are in the Hill Retreat group. Other women that are in there for the same purpose that you are there, they're going to be in the Hill Retreat. So I know a lot of women from the last retreat connected and are still friends. Like they're still friends. We connected with made some really great connections in the last Hill Retreat. And guys, I am ready. I'm so excited. So if you the registration will remain open until the Friday before. The Hill Retreat will be on June 7th. It will be a 5-day Hill Retreat, and it's absolutely free. 5-day Hill Retreat starting June 7th through the 11th, 12 noon my time, 12 noon Central, every day. So did I put it in there? I did. The link to register is inside of the chat. I look forward to seeing you there. I don't see any questions or comments. So if you have any, I'll go back and check them. Sorry if I couldn't see them. You guys have been fantastic. YouTube, you've been wonderful. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next Tuesday at 6:30, same place, same time. I love you and have a fantastic night.